So the next thing I want to talk about is how to do these tints, which is why I've told you to save the mixes that you've made, and also to save the primaries that you've made. And this is going to be very easy. These need to be quite light. So you're just going to take, for instance, let's take our permanent rose. We're going to mix this up. And I'm going to pull this over here so you can see what's going on. And I would, in this little mixing tray here, take some of that pigment and then add quite a bit of water to it. So you have a very nice light tint. And it should be quite light. I think that's probably about right. And you're just going to take that and you're going to paint it into the permanent rose area. Looks like it needs a little bit more color. And if you find that's too light, you can always add to it. So this is quite wet, so we're going to pick up some of that puddle. And if you get little hairs in there, don't worry about them. Let them dry and they will brush out once the pigment is dry. All right, so you've got that one. And I would probably make that a little bit darker, so we're going to wait. Now, I'm going to alternate around because, again, these are going to be quite watery. And we don't want them to blend, and we're going to have to clean these palettes as well. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do this violet right here. And these are my three. This is my violet, this is my blue violet, and this is my red violet. So I'm going to do the violet and skip the red violet at this point. So I'm going to put some of this into my mixing tray and add water and see what we have. So this is going to be my violet. So I'm just going to apply violet tint into this area, and you can see it's quite wet. And again, what I'm going to do after I've got it filled in here, I'm going to dry off my brush and pick a lot of that up so that you don't have any puddles left in that shape. Now these will all dry lighter, so you don't have to worry about it getting too dark on you. All right, so now I will do the ultramarine. What I'm going to do first is put another layer of permanent rose because it looked like it was just a little too light. Clean the brush because it's quite wet. I know I keep saying that, but it's so important that you do not leave puddles on your page. So once I have this to the value that I like, I'm going to clean up my tray because you can't have multiple washes going on at the same time. So this one now, I'm going to do the yellow-orange. So I'm mixing up the yellow-orange, and I'm going to add water and test. And that looks pretty good to me. So then I'm going to apply that tint to my color wheel and pick up any extra moisture in the shape while it's still wet. So you're going to go all the way around the color wheel doing this. It's just you must be very careful and test to make sure you don't get too dark, and then you will have all of your tints. Now, the question might arise that why don't we just add more water to these pigments that we already have mixed? Because you have to, from these, you also have to make your shades, which are on the inside. So you don't want to thin this out and then have to make it darker as we do the shade portion of this exercise.